Over the next 100 days, Avalanche Millionaires are going to be made. Off the Grid and MapleStory, the two biggest crypto games in the entire industry, are going to be the forefront of everything that has to do with gaming. And they're building on this single chain called Avalanche. At the same time, these gaming projects, they're not oblivious. They saw Ket go from $10 million worth of a market cap to over $240 million in record, unprecedented time and stability. They are now looking at a possible enormous gaming run moving forward. One of those projects is Bloodloop. With their Crafting Apexes sale, I'll be covering it as someone that has hundreds of thousands of dollars in the node space. As always, full disclosure, I'm an early investor of Bloodloop, and this post is sponsored by Bloodloop. Opinions are still my own. So let's get into what's going on here, because they have their official launch, which is coming soon with a play to airdrop event. I am sick and tired of nodes. I've invested into tons of these nodes, and I'm sick of nodes that say they're going to do something and don't do them for a very long time. Bloodloop is actually going to have a launch. There are projects that I've invested to a year ago that have been still waiting, and the ones that have been the biggest successes, the Myriads, the Playables, they have a product that is here and is ready to ship. And Bloodloop is doing exactly that. And ahead of that, they want to secure loyal holders. In my opinion, the node space is the most lucrative space for gaming projects because it secures liquidity, it locks tokens away, and it gets people into their side wanting them to succeed. And that's why I think nodes are continuing to be the #1 way for these gaming projects to get and sustain hype long term. I see them as a key indicator. If a gaming project is going to succeed, they need their apexes to succeed. So what in the world are they doing to make sure that this succeeds? Well, one of them is the quote unquote guaranteed ROI that they have. They've got an extra 18% of this token supply, the Bloodloop shard token, that's allocated as additional emissions for these crafting apexes. The main emission is going to come from the game. If the game has any hype, we saw this node model from Off the Grid, easily the biggest crypto game in the industry right now, following the token model. Emissions are incredibly important, but what's even more important is making sure that the people that have these apexes have a stake in the actual game that's going to be coming out. And a lot of the crafting, pretty much all of the crafting, is going to take place from these crafting apexes. They decentralize user rewards and crafting mechanisms by validating and randomizing the rewards and outcomes. If you grab one of these, which right now the price is $60, then they're going to give you BLS emissions and earn the BLS, which is accumulated from transactions. If this company gets any money at all from the fees on the Bloodloop game, then you are going to be getting a cut of exactly that. And that's why people are so hyped ahead of this play to airdrop event where millions of people are going to be looking at taking full advantage of it. You are going to be able to get a portion of this in fees. And on top of that, there's many more inefficiencies to tap into, which I will be explaining later in the video. But the main thing we need to understand is they're really cheap right now. They're $60 to $80 right now, and only 25,000 of these will ever exist. It's not like they're trying to raise something that is unreasonable, hundreds of millions of dollars. They're really only going for a $1 to $2 million raise right now ahead of their launch to make sure that the people that get these will do well. Of course, none of this is guaranteed at all, and we all know the risk that we get into when getting into this. But what is interesting, for me at least, is the fact that they're trying to do their best here to make sure that the people that get these crafting apexes aren't overburdened by the amount of supply out here. Back in GDC of 2024, Bloodloop was one of the main games out there. Everyone was playing it. This was the biggest gaming event of the year. We had Neo Tokyo, which talked to Pasquale here, the co-founder and CMO of Bloodloop. We've got Alex Becker. We know they raised $4 million for this hero shooter back in April 2nd of 2024. They don't do these big announcements unless something big is coming and their game launch is coming. They got prominent investors like the Avalanche Foundation, Merit Circle, and Citizen Capital. To me, of course, the big one is Avalanche. If Avalanche is backing them, then hopefully here we're going to see a lot of support moving into Bloodloop, and that's only going to help our odds here. We're also seeing crypto gaming projects get huge bids. We have B3 on Base officially being listed on Coinbase, an enormous time for crypto gaming projects finally beginning to get attention in the broader crypto spectrum. Coinbase listings are not something to scoff at all. They hit over 600 million FTV. Great for any crypto gaming projects looking to get more liquidity. We have Bloodloop, which back in November went ahead and shared their new VFXs, their new character animations, their new maps, their signature game mode. This is their make or break that is coming. Of course, the textures are still being worked on here as of November. I've heard there's been a lot more updates. But overall, the game is looking so much better than it was before. Remember the last play to airdrop, a lot of people were all over it. They also, yesterday, burned 12.5% of the total Bloodloop shard supply forever. 43 million tokens will never hit circulation. So they're already committing to making sure that this token gets less and less supply out there. So these nodes, the people that are getting these crafting apexes, are going to be able to take full advantage of the current situation here. The token hasn't been an incredible performer. I'm going to be completely honest. The crypto gaming space in general hasn't been the most lucrative place in the world right now. But if we do get volume moving into Avalanche Gaming, because of what I said earlier, talking about Off the Grid, talking about MapleStory, these games have raised hundreds of millions of dollars, then we can presume here that projects that are leading the pack secondary to Off the Grid are going to take full advantage of this opportunity, and Bloodloop is one of those. In terms of maximizing the yield for these crafting apexes, which if you gotten this far into the video, you can use code JM, it gives you a discount. Make sure that you take full advantage of the code JM, also supports me. You can go ahead and maximize your yield by the NFTs that they already have. These NFTs give you a 20% to 80% bonus based on the rarity. They also give you materials in the game, which you're going to need for said crafting. SEM capsules currently have the cheapest floor price, which is about 2.49 AVAX. If I actually plug that into the price right now, it's about the same price as a node, so not too attractive. It's about $60. But if we do see these get cheaper, if I see them hit that 1 AVAX mark, then I will more than likely be accumulating these SEM capsules. I'm waiting for a dip on both of these right now. The energy manipulators as well would be incredible to see a dip on these so we can accumulate them, get those rarity-based bonuses. The early Apex buyers as well are going to be first in line for missions and have the lowest mint price. What they mean by that is the prices are going to be going up on a linear curve as this sale goes ahead and continues. So of course, the cheapest prices are the prices that you get right now. So if you watch this video a month later and the prices are double what they are now, then the situation might be a little bit different. But the way I see it, accumulating these apexes are going to be the #1 way to take full advantage of the Avalanche gaming run if Bloodloop ends up being a success. Talking about crafting, it's the way that the engine for this game is going to run. Crafting goes live at launch and is the only way to obtain or trade cosmetics, essential items, and materials. I've seen off-the-grid items sell for thousands of dollars. And so these Apex holders are going to be first in line for in-game revenue. Just looking into this, you're going to be able to get in-game rewards that will be refined into crafting. And that's how we're going to be able to get Bloodloop shards tokens traded through this crafting. So everything leads back to these apexes. We have them ramping up for their play to airdrop event here as the first Bloodloop tournament has closed and is going to be a thing. The more people playing Bloodloop, the better it is going to be. And so that's why I'm going to be minting these apexes. I'm not throwing my life savings into it, but I am betting on Avalanche Gaming being an absolute success. Thank you, Bloodloop. Until the next time, stay classy, and that's all.